270. It still jams approaching Clarkson to about Long Road, but they cleared the crash west of there. It's still slow most of the way to about the Spirit Overpass, and then it improves. Just a little busy around Lake St. Louis Boulevard after that. Westbound 364 through Mid Rivers is heavy. South 270 bogs down. Page down to Ladue. North 270 Manchester Ladue is busy after that. Not bad. 170 both ways between Delmar and 64. Kind of crowded, and eastbound past the Interbella, of course. Westbound 44, there's a crash near the south leg of the arch. It's jammed back to about the Dome. Southbound 55, Gasconade Bates. You've got the usual heavy stuff there. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit. We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
It's Monday on the Redbird Rush Hour. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here once again, all in three different places, but in the same mental space. Talking Cardinals as we get into this series against the Toronto Blue Jays. Guys, coming off a really good weekend, man. I mean, look, we know the Cardinals have been playing well now for well over a month. They've had a little bit of a leveling off the last week or so, but that was to be expected. When you go 18-5 in a 23-game stretch, you're not going to keep that up. But what a really good, solid weekend against the Dodgers. And I think just continuing, if you guys agree or not, continuing to keep that ceiling higher than maybe we thought it would be in spring training.
Well, I can only speak for myself, of course. I wasn't surprised that the Cardinals won a series from the Dodgers because the Dodgers have been a .500 road team this season. And with all their pitching problems, they have been, I don't know, a little bit over average for the last couple of months. The Cardinals have a better record than them, for example, since April 11th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was surprised, however, the way the Cardinals completely shut down the Dodgers offense for 2 straight games.
Yeah.
That was the surprise.
Yep.
Because the Dodgers are so great offensively.
I've never been around a baseball team where people judge it so much by the immediate past. So when they go and lose a series against Texas and then lose a series against Kansas City, the naysayers are out there ready to say, well, this is the beginning of the end for this team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not that all that matters, but also, I mean, they want to put butts in the seats, and there was a lot of butts in the seats over the course of the weekend. As people who are still kind of on the fence trying to decide whether or not they should buy in on this club or not, I think a weekend like that it's a really good weekend to have, and it also puts them back in position. You know, when they lost 2 of 3 to Kansas City, all of a sudden having a winning homestand look a little bit tougher. Well, now you take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That sets you up that if you can win 2 out of 3 in this series, you finish with a winning homestand.
I don't know if you guys have followed this because I saw a good bit of it over the weekend just because I like to kind of check and see what's going on like another team's social media, kind of what's the vibe. If you ever think Cardinals fans are crazy, go check out Dodgers Twitter, dude. They are insane. They all want Dave Roberts fired. This guy, I bookmarked this one because I was like, what the heck? This guy says, the Dodgers bleeping suck. Fire everyone. The offense is abysmal. Don't get me started on our always injured pitchers. Fire the pitching coaches, the training staff, and then grow a backbone and hold Dave Roberts accountable. Accountable for winning the World Series 6 months ago and being a favorite right now. Let's hold him accountable.
I think he's got the best winning percentage in the history of baseball, too. No, among managers of certain experience level.
Yeah,
you're right. Listen, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite because there have been times when the Cardinals have lost a series. I was frustrated and disappointed because I didn't think they played that well, or maybe they let a game get away. But it's an entirely different thing. But these sweeping panic attacks that we see all the time, I don't understand that because I know whatever market we live in, we're gonna focus intensely on the team that we follow. But, you know, Cardinals fans of all teams need to realize in a 162-game season, all teams go through this stuff. All teams soil the bed from time to time. My goodness, the Philadelphia Phillies just got swept by the Pirates.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
You know, and you know, the Dodgers have lost some you know, they got swept by the Angels earlier this season, and they've lost series to
Well, it looks like we got a frozen screen there. Hang tight. We'll get Bernie back in here. It looks like a technological issue. We'll get that fixed. But he's making a great point, Matt. Like, you know, when we talk about the ups and downs of a season, when we talk about, you know, this is what happens. You know, I always fall back on, I wish more baseball fans watched more baseball. And by that, I mean not their team. You know, it's an everyday thing, so I know it's like not everybody's going to be a dork like me, and I'll have 4 games on the TV all at once, and I'll rewatch a game or two later on, too. I know everybody's not going to be a dork like that, but it does help to offer perspective when you see these things are happening everywhere. And this is, you know, again, Cardinals fans have every right to be skeptical big picture, which is why their team is still working to win them back. But it's also why you don't panic or freak out or celebrate at short, you know, in small sample sizes.
Yeah, look, if fans don't want to watch other teams, I'm not going to be mad at you. That's
it's
fine.
not about mad. It's just advice. You'll feel better about your team if you do.
Okay, I'm not arguing that, but this is I try not to tell fans how to be fans. This is where I would totally agree with you. I think we're going to go to the same place in different ways. If you want to only pay attention to the Cardinals, which is totally fine, don't sit here and tell me how they're the worst this or the worst that. Like, sit that argument out, because you don't pay attention to what else is going on in baseball, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't then jump into stuff where you're incorrect, especially when comparing to what else is going on in baseball.
Yeah, that's and I guess that's why I'm offering that up. And I would say the same thing to Dodgers fans, and I would say the same thing to Yankees fans, because I have said those things. Having covered national baseball, spent my first 10 years doing national radio, every fan in every city would call my overnight show and complain about their manager and complain about how stupid their front office was. I'm like, well, they can't all be stupid, because everybody thinks their front office is the dumbest. Everybody thinks their manager does things the worst. And it's just because it's what you watch. And we do talk about the good things and the bad things, and we're going to talk about criticism when criticism's necessary. And we're going to talk about what's good when things are good. I mean, that's just kind of the right way to do it when you're talking about a particular team. And Matt, you know, we'll get into the pitching changes and some of the things that are going on with the team in the next segment. We got a few interesting things to pay attention to. But for the time being, I think it's just fascinating that you've had, I think, a pretty good run now for more than a month. Mm-hmm. You've got a tough series now because Toronto's playing well. They've won 10 of 13. But then it's the division. And I know we keep pointing to those games, but then it's the division. It's the Brewers. It's the Reds. The Cubs are in there, too, with a little series against the White Sox mixed in.
Yeah, and you mentioned this run that the team is on right now. Since May 4th, the Cardinals have a .688 winning percentage and 22 wins. It's the best winning percentage and tied for the most wins in Major League Baseball with the Tigers. At Busch Stadium specifically, the winning percentage is .667. It's been really good, and that includes the stumble against the Rangers and the stumble against the Royals and losing 2 out of 3 against Detroit. That just tells you how good things have been for this team here lately.
Yeah, and you know, this is this Toronto series is an interesting one. I think there are some matchups there that the Cardinals can play well. The Blue Jays don't have, from my observation, a whole lot of left-handed danger. So, you know, you're going to be able to rely on your right-handers, and you got a right-handed rotation other than Liberatore, who I think will bounce back after a rough one last night. But the Blue Jays are a solid team. They're not scary. They're not dominant. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is obviously great, but he's not having a dominant year, just a good year. But I think that's a team. This is a team I think they can take 2 out of 3 from.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And you've got an opportunity to win some games, so go do it. You know, if you win this series, you have a winning homestand. And again, that's the equation to making everything work.
Burn, we had shifted. I know we got the technology back. Technology can be a blast. But we had just shifted over to talking a little bit about another good series against the Blue Jays before getting into some really good divisional battles.
You know, if I could zero in on just tonight's game, this is a very, very, very tough matchup for Andre Palante because I looked this up without giving you the numbers. The Blue Jays set of right-handed batters is basically top 5 or 6 or so in the majors. Mm-hmm. They're really strong right-handed.
Yep.
Andre Palante this year against right-handed batters has given up a 300 average, 364 on-base percentage, and a 496 slug. In every one of those categories, he is among the 9 worst starting pitchers in baseball in terms of getting punished by right-handed batters. So this is a really big chance for Palante to show, no, I figured some things out. I'm ready to roll now. We'll see. I hope I always root for all the Cardinals, so I hope we'll see a good start from him. I'm just saying it's a bad matchup, and that doesn't mean it'll be a bad night, but that's up to Palante to change that.
It's a great thing to keep an eye on. We got a message from Jake who pointed that out. Is this the day that Palante needs to show well? I don't know if it's that, but it's a great point you make there, Bernie. This is a great test for him, and if he shows well, that would be a great outcome. All right, stick around. We're going to talk pitching coming up. We got some roster moves, and it's going to be a lot of maneuvering, I think, over the next month and a half with all these games close together. We'll pick it back up on the Redbird Rush Hour here on 104.1 KMOX.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Are you sick of having internet that just isn't good at your home? Maybe it's too fast, maybe it's too slow, I should say. Maybe the price is more than you want to pay. Maybe the reliability, like all of a sudden it just drops out for no reason. And you're doing the thing. Do I reset the modem? Do I reset the router? Do I do all that? Do I wait this thing out? Well, if you're sick of all that, let me tell you about i3 Broadband. First off, from it's always going to be available to you standpoint, everything they do is below ground. I have it at my home. What they did is they came in, they put the wire in. About 2 days later, another person came in, buried the wire. You never knew that it was even out, and it is the most reliable internet. You're going to save money whether you get their introductory rate, which is $19.99 a month, whether you're the 2 gig service like I have at my home, which is $60 a month. That's going to save you like $1,200-$1,300 versus AT&T over the course of 2 years. Their prices are great. They've got St. Louis people working in their offices. St. Charles, Metro East is where they're based locally. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com. That's i3broadband.com.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This traffic report's a service of Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical. Westbound 270 still has a jam. It's Route 3, most of the way to the Chain of Rocks Bridge, bumper to bumper there. Northbound 170 slow from 70 to Airport Road. South 170 on the brakes from Delmar down to Brentwood. After that, it's slow to 64. Westbound Highway 64 backed up Kings Highway to McCausland. Clayton Worth and Dallas is slow. Still a jam through the Chesterfield Parkways and a couple of slow spots in the valley to the Boone Bridge. Now they cleared that crash. Westbound 70, heavy traffic from 94 to Abot Cave Springs. TR Hughes through Highway K. 364 Youngerman through Mid Rivers is busy. Southbound 270, south of Page to Ladue. North 270, Manchester Ladue is busy. The southbound side again slows down south of Tesson Ferry to 55. Southbound 55, Gasconade Bates just a little heavy, and they cleared that crash. Westbound 44 at the Arch Grounds. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said. Call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call, even though it's late. JerryKelly.com.
This is the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour continuing. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here, getting you ready for Cardinals Blue Jays tonight. 5:50 for the pregame show, 6:45 for the first pitch. A lot of pitching news today, guys. Not unexpected that we would have this, and I think probably want to get used to these kinds of shuffles going on. And we'll throw a text up there, too, from Cards Baseball Wisdom, pointing out that McGreevy was solid in his innings against the Dodgers. Points out his ERA is only 3.09. He did go down to Memphis today. More of a practical matter, right? I mean, Bern, they don't want to go with a 7-man bullpen. They have the off day Monday, so they don't need to stick with the 6-man for now, but he's going to be back soon.
In this case, I completely understand it. I'm a pro McGreevy guy, as a lot of people are. But listen, you got a really good Toronto team that's got the best record in the American League since May the 26th. Then you got Milwaukee coming in here. It's got the best record in the National Leagues since May the 18th. So you want to have a fully stocked bullpen. And so it does make sense at this point, because he wouldn't pitch for another 4 or 5 days anyway, to have McGreevy down in the minors. And that way you can reinforce your bullpen. But if Pallante, I don't know how much longer they could stay with Pallante if he continues to get beat up. You know, at some point, McGreevy's got to earn his way into the rotation. And someone who's not getting the job done has to be moved aside. I mean, I'm just being pragmatic about it.
And going back to what Nick's asked earlier, is it possible that McGreevy replaces Pallante? Well, the one thing is, McGreevy goes down, he's got to stay down for 10 days. So Pallante has at least earned another start by way of there's nobody else you can't make the move for 10 days outside of an injury possibly happening. So it does make sense. Like you guys said, this is where it's really tough because there's limited times that you can bring a guy up and down over the course of the year. So you want to be careful on how many times you use those options. But at the same time, if you're going to go with a 6-man rotation, you do need those extra arms. So it's, I'm sure, a lot of thought. Bernie, I'm sure you and I will talk about this with Ali coming up tomorrow. It's it's not an easy, thought process on do you send them back down or do you leave them here just because you are limited in those roster moves.
So getting back to Pallante, I mean, so tonight is not the night, as the caller asked, is tonight the night that he has to prove something? But I think it's probably the next 2.
Yeah.
Right? Because after that is when you can bring McGreevy back without having to have an injury involved. And after that, I mean, you've had half a season to get right. I mean, we're going to be close to the halfway point later this month. I mean, it won't be exact, but it'll be close enough. It'll be 14 starts for a guy like Pallante. And if you haven't figured it out, not that one start does it, but you're at the point where you got to show something.
And listen, first of all, since his beginning of his time with the Cardinals, he's always had a difficult time with right-handed hitters.
Yeah.
Which is why they put him in the bullpen at first, because he could get left-handed batters. He got a reverse split. He could get them to hit a lot of ground balls. So they made him a reliever. But he did a better job against right-handed hitters last season as a starter. It was better. It wasn't like great, but it was better. But it's not like this is a new issue for him, his struggles against right-handed pitching. This is actually a very familiar issue. So you have to wonder, well, when is it going to get fixed? I mean, how much time? This has gone on 3 or 4 years now. So how much time do you need to find that flaw and to correct it? The other thing, too, is he hasn't. I'll ask Matt Pauley this, and I'm sorry I'm stammering here. Didn't Pallante struggle in spring training? He just didn't look good. He didn't look right.
Bad.
So what? I get the idea of the runway. But how long is Pallante's runway? About coast to coast, about 3,000 miles? I mean,
we also got to get that McGreevy flight off the ground too, right?
Yeah,
I do think Pallante's runway, again, got a little bit reset at the beginning of the regular season because as poorly as he looked in spring training, the velo popped up right when the regular season got started. He had some good outings there. So at that point, it felt like whatever was going on in spring was not something that was continuing on. I don't know how much of it is an approach standpoint. I mean, sometimes he gets beat by soft contact, but there's a lot of hard contact against him as well. I actually talked with Ivan Herrera about this earlier today. He's going to be catching him tonight. This is what he said about the approach that they want to take tonight with Pallante.
Keep attacking guys, man. He struggled, but it's a lot of weak contact, man, and then he gave a big hit. But it's just part of baseball. It's like going 0 for 4 with 4 line drive. It's gonna be part of the game, and we're gonna attack guys, like I say, and try to get them off out of the box the fastest we can.
So that's the word from Von Herrera.
I don't know about the weak contact. His hard hit rate is in the bottom 23% of pitchers. I mean, it's not all weak contact. There's a lot more hard contact than anybody's acknowledging when they speak about it.
I would agree.
No, absolutely right. Yeah, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I just want to throw that in there. Not that I don't try. I mean, look, Herrera's looking out for his guy. He's not going to throw him under the bus, and he shouldn't. But we can all see what we can see, and the StatCast numbers show that it's not a good hard hit rate, and that means it's not soft contact.
Palante started to fall apart beginning like around April 7th. He's had 9 starts, 5.80 ERA. Can I read you some updated numbers? This is just in that window since April the 17th, 9 starts. Right-handed batters have a 337 average, a 393 on base percentage, and a 592 slug. That is not soft contact profile right there.
It is not. It is not. All right.
So anyway, but that's one teammate supporting the other. I get it. No problem.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I don't mind it with teammates. I don't want everybody else doing it, but the teammates can do that. All right. We got a lot more to do. Obviously, we're going to talk some Wilson Contreras and a little bit more on this series against the Blue Jays coming up in a couple of minutes. First up, I want to tell you about Game Day Men's Health. If you're struggling with anything, man, energy, performance issues in the gym or in the bedroom, it doesn't really matter. Weight gain, they've got answers for you. Just check it out at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Here's how it works, and this is how it worked for me and how it is continuing to work for me. You go in for a consultation. They're going to do a blood test, and then they're going to let you know, here's what we have that can help you. And you have you can look around and say, all right, maybe I'm going to be I want to work with peptides. Maybe I want medical weight loss. In my case, the testosterone replacement therapy was the answer. And it's made a huge difference, man. I mean, this is a busy time of year for me. Baseball season is coaching season. It's a lot of hours at the ballpark on the weekends. And I don't mean just at Busch Stadium sitting in a seat. I'm talking about coaching. And usually this is a time where I maybe back off on workouts and things. And I'm not. I don't feel like I need to. I don't have heavy legs. I'm recovering from workouts. I'm recovering from the coaching stuff. And I credit that to Game Day Men's Health. So, again, check them out at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Everything overseen by board-certified physicians. The staff are experts. It's a cool environment. One price explained up front. It can't be any easier, guys. 3 area locations: Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com and get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code QUOTE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code QUOTE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code QUOTE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
5:30, clouds and 82 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. As he announced California's lawsuit against the Trump administration for sending the National Guard into Los Angeles, California's Attorney General Rob Bonta was asked about President Trump's remark that Governor Gavin Newsom should be arrested.
It is the president and the Trump administration that is consistently and frequently, blatantly, and brazenly violating the law, not Governor Newsom.
Monta says it just sounds like a lot of bluster. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a bill that requires state-regulated health insurance plans to provide coverage for all FDA-approved treatments of Alzheimer's disease, medications prescribed to slow the progression of the disease, and diagnostic testing necessary for physicians to treat Alzheimer's. Well, following the May 16th tornado, the Red Cross now set up at the Disaster Assistance Center at Chaffetz Arena.
We are providing financial assistance to those individuals who had significant damage to their home or their home was destroyed.
Red Cross St. Louis Director Sharon Watson says they have a list to make sure everyone that had damage can ask for help. Our forecast tonight, clear skies with a low of 60 degrees. For tomorrow, sunny skies, 83, overnight low 62, and looking ahead to Wednesday, it looks like a sunny day, warm, highs of 89, overnight low 68, and Thursday, still a sunny day, 87 degrees. Right now, it is 80 in St. Peters, 82 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch, it's 82 degrees. I'm Maria Aquina, in for Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, you're a good boy. Oh, you are. Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Zero Res wants to help you clean your home or business. Big summer savings with 3 rooms, clean starting at just $129, $75 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the Dave Glover KMOX special.
Bernie Miklasz here, coming to you on behalf of Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort dealer that's been taking care of the Miklas's for 17 years. Heck, we were kind of late to this party. They've been taking care of St. Louisans for nearly 100 years, 4 generations of Saliga. What I can tell you with 100% certainty, based on our lengthy experience as a Saliga client and family, you can count on their honesty, their integrity, their professionalism, their class when they come into your home, their prompt service. You can also count on the fact that they will look for cheaper solutions for you. They will look to save you money when they can. They're not going to try to hustle you or talk you into something. The other thing, they serve all makes and models. They can handle your heating and cooling needs for your home or business. And I want you to check out Saliga Heating and Cooling, their Priority Club. It's a maintenance plan that is going to save you money long-term by extending the life of your equipment. You also get priority scheduling in the Priority Club, and you have the comfort of knowing your home is safe and sound and ready for all seasons. To find out more about Saliga Heating and Cooling, you can call 314-481-7333, or you can just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
right, back into the Redbird Rush Hour. Bernie, Matt, and Kevin hanging out. Guys, it's time for the Game Day Men's Health Peak Performer. Get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health. You'll find them at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Wilson Contreras continues to trend up. So in the month of June, the OPS is up near 900. So he's gradually, you take away March, just those few games in March, the 0 for 18 to start, and he's basically where he should normally be statistically. His batted ball stuff is all great. In fact, it's better than it was last year when he had a phenomenal year without, minus the injuries. And, I should point this out. I know we've talked about it briefly, but he's also been one of the best defensive first basemen in baseball. So good for him. He's doing the job, and he's driving in runs.
I think Cardinals fans have come to really appreciate him, including those who maybe were a little lukewarm about it. And why wouldn't they? Do you see the emotion he plays with?
He's awesome.
Do you see the competitive spirit? He's hard-nosed. He's very supportive of his teammates. And when they threw him under the bus way back when he first became a Cardinal, the way he handled that was nothing but class and grace. The guy gives you everything he has, and he's one of the best right-handed hitters in baseball. And you say, well, he'll be terrible at first base, and he's actually been anything but terrible. So I don't know if there's any holdouts out there, but if you are, what is your problem? Tell us what the problem is. Is he's a former Cub? I think the statute of limitations have expired on that.
Agreed.
I wouldn't understand why any Cardinal fan wouldn't love this guy.
I don't get into like the rah-rah stuff too often, but my goodness, does he love the game of baseball and love just playing baseball. And there's something really fun about watching a guy who clearly loves the game as much as he does. And, the other day when he hit the milestone, the 1,000th career game or whatever, Claves is talking to him in the post game, and he almost starts crying about it. I mean, he is just somebody who loves everything about this game and is so grateful to be where he's at. It's refreshing.
Yeah, and again, the slow start to the season, it just shows you how much like a bad 7 or 8 days can change your numbers, right? Because outside of those numbers, he would look just like he did the last couple of years where his numbers would have ranked in the top 5 or 6 amongst first basemen. So, he's continuing to produce offensively. He's getting better as the season goes along there. And I've just been super impressed with the defense because, he had the competitive side, and I thought the way he handled that initial controversy in the benching that didn't end up sticking and all that, I thought he handled that great. That would have pissed me off if I was in his shoes, right? I just signed with you, and we're already going through this like a month into the season. I'd have been a little irritated, but he handled it super, super well.
And I've heard some people say, well, when they moved him out of catcher, he lost value because you don't get that kind of offense from a catcher. And I'm kind of like, let's call timeout on that one. Because we all knew that Contreras was maybe an average catcher at best defensively, right? Yeah. And that's nothing wrong with that. They have an exceptional defensive catcher in Pedro Pages. So they have strengthened themselves defensively at a hugely important area of the team in terms of support of that pitching staff. A great catcher behind the plate who calls a game great. He knows what to do. He can read the pitchers. And he's 6-7% above average in terms of the caught stealing rate. And with Contreras, based on Paul Goldschmidt's stats last year, he's also provided an upgrade offensively at first base.
Yep.
So you've strengthened 2 positions. And I'm looking at the comments. People are talking about Pages. He doesn't hit very much. Well, you know what? Yadier Molina did hit very much for about his first 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have a great defensive catcher, and you have to, don't you understand what this pitching staff is and how much they need a great catcher behind the plate?
Yep.
There's a real premium on that. There really, really is.
For sure. All right, we're going to finish up the conversation in a second. Before we do that, let's get a look at traffic as everybody's coming downtown for the first game of this 3-game series and see what things look like on the roadways, and we'll get right back to it here on the Redbird Rush Hour.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, it's not bad for game goers if you're headed into town, Kevin, right now. This traffic reports the service of Anderson Hospital. What we're looking at on eastbound 64 is just a brief backup, 170 through to about Big Bend. South 170 is just busy from Ladue to 64. Eastbound 70 looks great. I don't see any issue coming all the way into downtown. Westbound 44 is just a little busy past the Poplar, and that's about it. Northbound 170 is slow Natural Bridge all the way up to almost Hanley. Westbound 270 still is a jam. Route 3 most of the way to Chain Rocks Bridge. Westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Big Bend, McKnight all the way to 270. In fact, we have a crash now between Lindbergh and Spady. They're sending EMS for it. It's still a solid jam west of Clarkson pretty much all the way to the Boone Bridge, but after that, not so bad. Westbound 364 Youngerman to Mid River is slow. South 270 Olive to Ladue. North 270 Manchester Ladue is busy as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Serving the Metro East region with excellence, Anderson Hospital is proud to be named one of Newsweek's World's Best Hospitals for 2025. Experience world-class care close to home. AndersonHospital.org.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour. We've got about 3 minutes left, fellas. So I know we talk a lot about Nolan Gorman, but he's getting a crack tonight. And the schedule is favorable for more of him over the next 10 days. I looked ahead, and it's like 8 or 9 of the next 10 starting pitchers are right-handers. Not that it should matter that much, but it clearly does because they were starting Ryan Valade over him against lefties. And, we all had the same feeling about that on Friday. But it's good to see him in there, Burn. And his last 30 at-bats, he's 9 for 30. The slug has come along. The only way we're going to know if the stuff is working is if he gets at-bats.
His plate discipline, he's made major changes, and it's much, much better. And eventually that would lead to results, and I think we're seeing that. But he's got to stay in the lineup. And Ali's got to use him against some left-handed pitchers, not all the time, because he's not going to grow against left-handed pitchers unless he plays more. And as Matt Pauley has pointed out, in his past, Gorman actually was starting to hit left-handed pitchers very well, or at least above average for a time.
Jordan Walker is going to go probably on a rehab assignment on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So that means he's probably back next Tuesday if they don't have any.
After the weekend, yeah.
Yeah. So you got 6 days for Nolan Gorman's. The runway is 6 days.
Well, it's got to be. It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be included. And look, we all understand the circumstances. You know, they went through a stretch. They're winning a lot of games. They've become a competitive team. We're not saying that a hot bat should come out very often, but they've got plenty of guys that aren't hot. Then you can rotate. Like, just move it around a little bit because we don't have to be committed to certain guys playing all the time just because that's what everybody expected. And the guys need days off, man. I think Newt needs occasional days off more than he's getting. You know, maybe Victor Scott needs the same thing. Certainly Arenado does. And I think everybody benefits from doing it that way.
When it comes to Scott, he's never done this before.
Right.
He might hit a wall. Do what you need to do to make sure that wall is a little bit further back into September.
But Gorman's got to be in the mix more than he has been. Mm-hmm. The time of like sort of justifying that, to me, there's an expiration date on it, and I think we've reached it because his results are getting better. So you got to ride that.
Yeah, and I think you have to. And this is we only have a minute, but like,
sure.
This is a longer term conversation because you got to know going into the offseason. Because you got to sort it out because you got him and Sajasi and Donovan and Nootbaar and Walker and Weatherholt's coming, man. He's got a 900 OPS at AA, and he's getting better as it goes. Like, there's a crunch, and you have to have information to make decisions.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to thin the logjam out. I think Chaim Bloom, when he takes over, will have all off season to ponder that.
Yes,
and gauge trade interest in this guy or that. He can test all the waters, so to speak. But until then, they're going to have to stay the course. I think Weatherholt, of course, should be prominent in the picture next season.
Absolutely. All right, boys, it's been good. We're a little short today because we got the game starting at 6:45. So Matt's got pregame at 5:50. First pitch is coming up at 6:45. Enjoy the game tonight, Bernie. Matt, I know you'll enjoy it. You're there in person getting a chance to check it out, and I'll do the same from the comfort of my couch tonight. But you guys have a good night. We'll get ready to talk more ball a little bit late with you, Bernie, a little bit later in the week, and with you, Matt, we'll do this tomorrow night.
Sounds good.
All right, that's Matt Pauley, Bernie Miklas, and obviously Kevin Wheeler with you here. We're getting ready for Cardinals baseball. Looking forward to getting the thing started. 6:45 for the early start time, and, of course, 5:50 for the pregame show here on your home for the Cardinals, KMOX.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll